show from all last year. Shannon is getting his first little taste of that. But this is how we did it all last year with the guest remote and the hosts here. And so I apologize to everyone that you folks are not going to get an opportunity to personally meet one of the coolest guys on this football team, and you probably couldn't pick him out of a lineup. And those are my favorite guys. It's special team star C.J. Goodwin. Thank you, C.J.
Let's go, C.J. All right.
Don't start that now, Shannon. Don't start that.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shannon, now, of course, now is acting like he's your press agent, for crying out loud.
I am now, Brad. I am. It took me a while to get there, but I'm there.
So just to paint the picture a little more fully, some of you who have watched Cowboys televised podcasts are familiar with the look of the podcast studio. It's a big oval table, looks like a football, strangely enough, and microphones around it, and Shannon and I are across from the table from each other. And CJ's at home because everything except practice was virtual today for the Cowboys, and I believe will be tomorrow and was yesterday because of the COVID outbreak. And so we can see CJ in a little box on our screen, but you can't see us, can you?
No, not at all. This is kind of weird.
Yeah,
it's pretty weird. Yeah.
Trust me when I tell you that I know it's weird, but you're way better off. It's going to make your evening a little more pleasant that you can't look at us for the next hour. So just a couple of quick things in case folks hadn't heard. So Mike McCarthy's on the COVID list now, tested, and it even moved into the Omni to stay away, keep his family safe from harm, and not run the risk because there were several members of the coaching staff who had it. And so now you're down three strength coaches, two offensive line coaches, an offensive assistant, Terrence Steele, and now the head coach. How about that?
Are you strapping it up and coaching on Thursday, Brad?
Well, I would if called upon because I can throw a red flag. I literally just had a good friend of mine call me while I was driving in here to the Star, and he said, "Are you coaching?" And I said, "Look, I could wear a headset. I know how to wear a headset. I could decide to kick or go. I could throw a red flag.
Call timeout.
I can listen to everybody telling me what to do. But like most of the things that have happened in the 43 years I've been broadcasting these games, Shannon, no one has asked me my opinion. So Dan Quinn will do that and come downstairs and call the defense from downstairs. So this is one of the first things that and by the way, having nothing to do with that, but before I forget, Tristan Hill's been suspended for 2 games by the league for the little post-game scrape he got into with the Raiders center on Thursday. He could appeal, but right now he'll miss 2 games. That's how it stands. So, C.J. Goodwin, let me start off with Dan Quinn because folks may not know that you didn't come here directly from Atlanta, but you spent, 4 years, parts of 4 seasons with the Falcons?
3 seasons with the Falcons.
3 seasons, yeah. And you got there the same time Dan was hired as the head coach, right?
The same year, yes.
So you've seen him both call the defense and operate as the head coach. And although Keanu Neal and Damati KZ have played for him more recently, you know what it's like to play for him. You've seen him do what he's going to be doing this week. What should people expect? What's the experience going to be like?
We're not going to miss a beat. He's a great coach. He's been proven to be a great coach in this league as a head coach. We're not going to miss it. We're already prepared. Like you said earlier, we can go in this thing without any coaches if we need to. We're prepared.
So they're all overpaid? Is that what we're saying, basically? They should take their salaries and divide them?
That's not what I said.
No, okay. I heard you wrong. I thought I heard you wrong. But it is weird. So you were able to practice the last 2 days, right? But not meet in person.
Right. We're all virtual right now, which is, so it just happens during COVID. We did it last year.
I was going to say, so what did last year's experience do to help prepare you for this week?
We're used to it. We know that it's going around the league. It's been going around the league for the last 2 years. Everybody has to do it. It's we just got to focus a little bit more on the internet, I guess, and we'll be fine.
Stay off the wrong places on the internet, by the way. You want to stay on where you're supposed to be on the internet. But tell people, so if people are listening and they've never experienced what you guys are going through this week and what you all went through last year, and they're saying, okay, well, the Saints are practicing, they're meeting together, but you're not. I know why all of you think that you won't miss a beat and you'll go out and play with the same intensity you would have played with under normal circumstances, but explain why that's the case to people not going through this, please.
Firstly, we're professionals. We meet forever. Honestly, we're on the iPads forever. It's actually better for us, as players, to meet on an iPad than in person. It's because we get to kick our feet up a little bit. We lock in. It's so easy for us to lock in because we've been doing this for so long. We like it. So we'll show you on Sunday, Thursday, I guess, that we're focused.
Good, and that gets me to the second point that I wanted to remind everyone. By the way, we thank you for listening wherever you're joining us on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network or watching streamed on DallasCowboys.com. But remember what CJ just said. He will show us on Sunday because you think of this, all of you folks think of this as another short week for the Cowboys. No, it's a regular 7-day week with a little vacation at the end. Is it easier to play the second Thursday game as long as it's on a 7-day cycle?
Absolutely. Thank God it's a 7-day week because those short weeks are pretty hard on your body. I think we had 3 games in 12 days or something like that, and this the last stretch of it right now. So we're looking forward to this one, and we're looking forward to the little break at the end as well.
And you have been here for a few years now, so. You knew at least how to lie to your body to get ready between Kansas City and Thursday, but is that what you have to do? Do you have to lie to you, especially when you're a veteran like you are? Do you have to lie to your body and say, no, it's Sunday. You think you hurt, but you really don't?
Honestly, those guys are going through this. The other team is going through the same thing we're going through. So that's the lie we got to tell ourselves is they're feeling the same way we do. So there's no real advantage, there's no disadvantage. It's just, okay, we feel this way, they feel this way. Let's go out there and strap them up and let's see what happens.
When you play in an environment or you go into an environment like New Orleans with all those crazy drunk people in Louisiana at night screaming and yelling, and you know what that environment's going to be like. Does it you experience that in Kansas City? There's a few places that NFL teams exist that are like that. I think Seattle, I think New Orleans is one, Kansas City's one. Does it get a little behind you like, yeah, let's go down there, let's take care of business at their place?
Absolutely. You love playing at those places like that with the crowd. You can't really hear yourself think. It's a wonderful place to play, and that dome kind of like keeps the noise in there too, man. I love playing in New Orleans. I love playing in those places like that. We all do. Give me your top 3 places that you have played,
Either on the road, at home. You've been a lot of different stops. Where do you enjoy? It can be atmosphere, it can be facilities, it can be teams that you like to beat up on. Just anything. What are your top 3 places?
Okay, my top 3. New Orleans is 3. The Georgia Dome, back when it was the Georgia Dome, we played the NFC Championship there, and that was the loudest game I ever played in my life when I was with the Falcons. Mm-hmm. And of course, I got to go with AT&T Stadium. I mean, I'd be remiss if I said anything other than that, right?
There you go. Great answers, CJ.
And only what we would expect from a man of CJ Goodwin's caliber. So before we take a break, We were talking during the break before we went on the air, and because CJ's such a pro, we can get into this. The flag fest on Thursday was ridiculous for both teams. But the two that were called on you at the end of the game were both legit. You were pretty obviously offside. And that's unusual because you get very, very few penalties. But I was interested in what you were saying about the reasons that your rush of the field goal there in overtime was what it was. It's a little different from what your rush is sometimes, and you were saying there was something you saw that led you to believe that you had an opportunity for a block. Can you tell people about that?
Yes, the holder has a whole mechanics he goes through, and we were watching, me along with some other specialists, along with the special team coaches, were watching his mechanics, and he had like a tail. So he would lift his hand up. As soon as he lifts his hands up, they would snap the ball. And I was going off the bat instead of the ball. And, I was just trying to make a play, it was a short kick. So it was like, it's either if I get it or he's going to make it. So, I tried my best, and it didn't work out. But, win some, you lose some.
I would say if the Cowboys had regular captains, seasonal captains, there's no doubt in my mind that C.J. Goodwin would be the special teams captain. One of the very best special teams players in the league. And when we come back from this break, C.J., we're going to talk about how you got there, because that's not necessarily what you dreamed of being when you were playing at California, Pennsylvania, or even when you came into the league. But here you are at the top of your profession. We're going to talk a little bit about that when we come back.
When it comes time to shop for tailgate favorites, go to Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries every Dallas Cowboys game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys.
And the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour is also brought to you in part by Lou Casey, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And we'll be right back with C.J. Goodwin right after this.
Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and Omni Hotels and Resorts.
And welcome back to the Cowboys Hour. Brad Sham, Shannon Gross, and our very special guest, Shannon's favorite cowboy, CJ Goodwin, the special teams ace. CJ has been Shannon's favorite cowboy for a good 30 minutes now.
No, about 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
2.5 weeks.
Okay.
Where's the virtual brisket and virtual Miller Lite?
I would love to know that, because it is time, CJ. We've reached the time in the program that's become a real favorite of mine, and I think a lot of other people's, because Shannon does a deep dive into your background, and normally this being a segment that is sponsored by
Miller Lite.
We like to have a Miller Lite here, but they provided us no Miller Lite, so we're going to be drinking a virtual Miller Lite while Shannon Gross takes a serious, real-life dive into your Wikipedia page.
Yes. So, CJ, this is the part of the show. This is our Miller Lite moment of the show, and normally what I do is I read off parts of your Wikipedia page, and you fact check it with me and tell me whether it's correct or incorrect. And anytime we have a correction, I would take a sip of Miller Lite. So sometimes I get drunk on the show. Sometimes I'm parched. So you help me out here. And I'm going to need your help right out of the gate, because it has CJ Goodwin, and then it has your real first and middle name. How do you pronounce that? I'm not even going to attempt it.
Sharon Jarre.
Sharon Jarre. Okay, it says Sharon Jarre. C.J. Goodwin is an American football cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys of the National Football League, and you were signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers as an undrafted free agent following the 2014 NFL Draft. Is that correct so far?
That's correct.
Okay. It says you played college football at California University of Pennsylvania.
Kind of correct.
Kinda.
Oh, wait, which part's only kinda?
I only played one semester there. I actually started my college football career at Fairmont State University. That's the college I graduated from as well.
Yeah, and in your Wikipedia, whoever been adding to this, they confuse me a little bit, because we'll get to that part in a minute. So you may have to we may have to change the order before we get done. So it says you were born on February the 4th, 1990, in Wheeling, West Virginia. Is that correct?
Wheeling, West Virginia, yes, sir.
All right. You attended the Lindsley School in Wheeling, West Virginia, and began playing football. It says began playing football until your senior year. I don't know what that means, but it says you were a starter at wide receiver. In addition to football, you also competed in track and basketball.
Yeah, that's wrong. I didn't play wide receiver in high school. I played corner in high school.
All right. Well, there's
And
one.
a little bit of quarterback.
There's one adjustment right
Okay.
there. There's our first one.
A virtual slug of Miller Lite
There we
for
go.
you right
Chugged
now.
a Miller Lite right there. After graduating from high school, Goodwin attended Bethany College, where you would play basketball for Bethany for 2 seasons, and then transferred after your sophomore year.
I played for 1 season. Yeah.
Golly, someone has messed
Another
this.
correct.
You're gonna need
man.
you're gonna need a designated driver tonight.
I'm riding with you, Brad. Following your departure from Bethany, Goodwin would enroll in Fairmont State University for your junior year, but I'm guessing that's wrong. It needs to be sophomore year. Is that right?
No, I went there my junior year. It was my transfer junior year. So,
Okay. All right, we got
I
you.
don't know what that means, but I spent 5.
All right. Very confusing, like I said. After your arrival, you played in an... Now, this is very interesting. This is where it gets real interesting. I learned a lot about you reading this. It says after your arrival, you played in an intramural basketball game against the school's football staff, and at the urging of your father and college roommate, future NFL player Dewey McDonald, you eventually joined the Fighting Falcons football team. Is that true?
Yes, that is true.
Real. So you were discovered playing an intramural game against the football staff.
Absolutely. I dunked on the football. Well, actually, my boy, Dewey McDonald, threw a oop, and I caught it and dunked on the head football coach. And
I love
they
that.
all kind of made me play after that.
Okay.
That's the closest thing we're ever going to get to a real-life longest yard.
I like that. All right. I like it.
We're playing the guards. Do we get to hit them? Yeah.
And then it says you did a whole bunch of cool stuff in college, and then After walking on your first year and having a successful season, you were offered a scholarship to continue playing for Fairmont.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. All right, and on to the third page. This is where it gets even more interesting.
Now, have
CJ.
you sobered up yet? Because we got a third page going here.
Not yet, and I'm hoping I don't. So
All right.
maybe we get a couple more wrong
All right,
here.
here we go.
After finishing your collegiate career, you would enter the 2014 NFL Draft, and you were a virtually unknown prospect due to you playing at 2 NCAA Division II schools. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you weren't invited to the combine, but you had a good showing at a pre-draft combine held by the Detroit Lions.
Yes, it was like the super regional, I believe. I had a good pro day and I had a good whatever that was, super regional.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to pay for that back then too.
And here's where it gets really interesting. After going undrafted and not receiving any interest, I mean, they killed you there. No interest at all. You had no interest. As an undrafted free agent.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Good. More Miller Lite.
It says as an
That's a lie. That's a lie.
As an undrafted free agent, immediately after the draft, you received a tryout with the Steelers after Mel Blount urged them to give you an opportunity. You had attended the same high school as his son and worked for Blount as a farmhand for 7 years.
Absolutely true.
That's crazy. So you knew Mel Blount from the Steelers, and he talked them into giving you a tryout, and that's how you made the team.
Absolutely. But Mel Blunt's an angel.
Man, all right. And then the last thing I wanted to get to, because it listed this as the last paragraph on your page, it says a lot of people probably don't know about this, and I want you to be able to talk about it a little bit. It says you founded the PEGA Foundation, Perry Galloway Jr. Foundation, to honor your late father and mentor after his passing. I guess you pronounce it PEGA Foundation is a nonprofit mentoring organization based out of your hometown in Wheeling, West Virginia. Off the field, you spend a lot of your free time mentoring the youth of PEGA and volunteering your time by speaking to schools and youth groups across the country.
Yeah, she was co-founded by me and my sister. Absolutely. That's our passion.
All right, one more thing, and I want you to talk a little bit more about your foundation. And it says here in the footnotes that when you were a senior in high school, you were a basket weaving champion in Wheeling, Pennsylvania, 3 years in a row. Is that true?
That's a big drink right there.
That's a big drink.
Drink.
Good. That's what I was aiming for.
He does that every week. He makes something up, and we want to see. And it's actually my favorite part of the entire segment. I love that. There's so much in there that I want to talk about, but I have actually one more thing that could have been from the basket weaving thing. So there was a dispute. I'd like you to set the record straight. In the Cowboys media guide, which I have in front of me, it says you are 6'3". Is that correct?
Absolutely. I don't know. Yeah, I got my hair now too. So
but-
yeah, absolutely.
But is it also correct that there was a time when in their official publications this year, not like it's your first year, they were listing you as 6'1"?
Listen, you turn 30 and they start to shrink you, man. That's what it is. You turn 30, they start to shrink you.
CJ, you don't even want to know what happens when the decades start to add up after that. So there is so much there that I want to get into, but there's one in your professional travelogue. So as Shannon said, you signed with the Steelers. That was in 14. You first went to Atlanta in 15, and you were with the Falcons on the practice squad in 15, and then you were with them in 16 and 17. And then in 2018, according to this, you were with 5 teams. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
In the calendar
At least
year.
At least 5.
It says
Yeah.
here.
It was all during the offseason, too.
Right, all right. So like practice squad stuff and then mini camps and one of the people are always saying. But so you went bouncing around from Arizona, according to this, Arizona and then the Giants and then San Francisco and then Cincinnati, on whose practice squad you were when the Cowboys first signed you.
Correct.
So what was that like? What motivated you to hang in there when you kept getting cut when there's no games even being played?
Because honest to God, I had one more season to get my pension, so it was all or nothing. I had to make sure I was going to get that pension before they got rid of me. That's all.
Hey, that is a legit reason, man. People do not understand how that sets it. Maybe you can tell us a little bit. Once you get, is it still 4 years?
It's 3 years. It's 3 years and 3 games. So I think it's 2 seasons and 3 games after that.
And just tell the people how that affects the rest of your life.
You're kind of taken care of for the most part. For once you retire after 45, after you turn 45, you're kind of taken care of for the remainder of your life. There's no real point of playing for 2 years and not being undrafted, playing for 2 years and not making it to your pension. It's like they give you a couple dollars and okay, figure the rest of your life out. So getting that pension is kind of the most important thing to, especially an undrafted player like myself.
So you get some money, none of our business how much, but there's also big health care advantages down the road for a vested player, right?
Absolutely. I have kids, so I want to make sure they're taken care of as well. So yeah, that pension was crucial.
What's the mental aspect of that, CJ, when you don't know, like you're fighting for that pension and you know that if I can just hang in there a little bit longer and latch on with the team, and then you get cut over and over and over, what's the mental toll of that like? You see these tough warriors out on the field and you think they're indestructible, but that's got to be kind of got to mess with you a little bit, not knowing like, hey, am I going to be out selling cars next week and not have any insurance and not being able to take care of my kids? Walk us through what that whole mental aspect's like.
It's heavy, man. It's a heavy burden. I'm so grateful of my support group. I come from my family, my siblings, my mom, even my close friends that they were somebody I could lean on, I could talk to about, am I good enough? And they always have my back. Of course they're going to say yeah, but they shot me straight too. Saying maybe that's not the best fit for you, or your next stop would be your best stop, and they kept me going. But that mental, it's heavy, man. It's heavy. Anything in professional sports is heavy, honestly, man. So I'm glad you had that question, man. I appreciate that.
We have to take another break. When we come back, CJ, I really want to give you an opportunity to talk about your foundation, and I also want to hear you talk about the mental conversion that you make to accepting a role as one of the best special teams players in the league. Because as we said, it's not what you didn't leave school saying, boy, I hope I can play special teams for the rest of my life. But more than one coaching staff just with this franchise has recognized your value doing that. And so I think that's all worth talking about, Shannon, and we're going to do that when we come back on the Cowboys Hour.
And at the Omni Frisco Hotel, you can kick off your stay at the official hotel of the Dallas Cowboys with style, cool off in the elevated pool, savor upscale comfort food at neighborhood services, and enjoy all the dining and entertainment options the Star has to offer. Visit omnihotels.com/Frisco to learn more and turn the next home game into a weekend getaway.
And the Cowboys Hour is also brought to you by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, the official pizza of the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll be right back with C.J. Goodwin after this.
Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and Omni Hotels and Resorts.
And welcome back to the Cowboys Hour. Brad Sham, Shannon Gross, our very special guest, Cowboys special team star C.J. Goodwin. This is Thursday night for the players because the game is on Thursday. So you think it's Monday. They know it's Thursday, so we doubly appreciate your time, C.J., because I know that it's the closer we get to game day, every minute becomes crucial, and especially in a crazy virtual imposed week like this. Let's, Shannon, say a little bit about CJ's foundation again so we can get into that, because I want to give you an opportunity, CJ, to really talk about that. And so we can be looking for your cleats Thursday night.
Yeah, the PEGA Foundation is to honor your late father and mentor after his passing, and it is a nonprofit mentoring organization based out of your hometown in Wheeling, West Virginia. And it says off the field you spend most of your free time mentoring the youth of PEGA and volunteering your time by speaking to schools and youth groups across the country. And this week is the across the league is the My Cause, My Cleats game, where you guys get to pick a cause. You get to paint your cleats up for one game and wear something that you that's out of uniform normally, but you don't get fined for this one. So CD will probably be happy for this game that he can actually do something and not get fined. But your cleats are to honor your foundation. So tell us a little bit why did you start that, and what do you do in the off season to help support that?
Well, me and my older sister started it, Chandra. We started it after my dad's passing in 2015. He was real big in the community. He always led he was a leader in the community, honestly. He had a youth camp that ran for over 27 years in my hometown. He was very, very respected in our community. So we kind of picked up where he left off. We focused on exposing underexposed youth to just different things, because you only know what you know, and you only know what you're exposed to. And me and her were exposed to different things because of him. And that's what led us to, have a more open mind and to achieve the things we kind of achieved. I never seen an NFL player before. My dad took me to go meet an NFL player, or actually a Hall of Famer, which is Mel Blount. So the sky's the limit when you're exposed to those type of things, and that's what we want to do.
But that's another thing I want to get you to talk about. I'm going to run the risk of making fans and some of my friends who have played cornerback through the years for this team a little irritated. Everson Walls and going back, Mel Renfro, and not to say anything about the guys who are here now. But I think Mel Blount's my all-time favorite cornerback in the NFL. The guy, to look at him, should never have been able to do cornerback stuff at his size. And he was just a remarkable player, and I've had the opportunity to meet him just once or twice. And what a tremendous gentleman he is and leader in the community. You've touched on it, CJ, but how did you come to know him through your dad, and how did he influence your life as well as your career?
Okay. I went to a private school in Wheeling, West Virginia. I was fortunate enough to do that. We didn't have the money to do it. I don't know what my dad did and my mom did. But anyway, so we went to a private school, and his kids actually went to the same private school. And my dad, I guess there wasn't too many black people in that school. And, my dad met him and introduced himself. And one day he seen me. I was 17 years old. He seen me at my little brother and his second son are the same age. They're playing on the same basketball team. Seen me at the basketball game. He told me to pull up my pants, take my earring out. He said, "I'm offering you a job. I'm paying $10 an hour. Come up. You're working on the farm, and you're gonna clean the stalls for the horses." At the time, I was working as a playground instructor on the weekends, making like $3.75 an hour. So of course I took the job, and ever since then he became like family to me. I actually call him uncle. Yeah, so that's how we kind of met, and he's done so much for me and my family. His family, including his wife Tiana, has done so much for me and my family. We can't thank him enough.
Let's get to C.J. Goodwin's professional career. You were in Atlanta for most of 3 years. They released you during the season in December. in 17, and you went from there actually to Arizona, the Giants, San Francisco. Anyway, you're Cincinnati, and then the Cowboys signed you in October of 2018, and you're now a fixture here, and it's not just because the coaching staff loves you, because this is the second coaching staff that's loved you, and that's a big deal. People don't understand how significant that is, because you play a kind of position where staff might have favorites, and you can be perfectly good, but I like my guy, and he's coming in. So what's been different for you in Dallas? Why have you found a professional home here, do you think?
I think they value what I do. I think they value the field position of special teams. I consider myself one of the best special teams players in the league. I think they do that as well. I just take my job seriously, and I'm glad they let me, go out there and do what I do. That's pretty much it, man.
When did you embrace the idea that you didn't have to be an all-pro cornerback like Mel Blount to have professional satisfaction? You could be something different, and it could involve special teams. When was that okay with you?
That was okay with me, honestly, the first time I touched the field with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I came from D2. I played in front of maybe 300 people, 400 people. So the first time I touched the field at this Pittsburgh practice, I was like, man, anything I can do to stick, I'm going to do. I didn't stick there, but I had a conversation with Mike Tomlin. He said, hey, man, I know you're a great practice player, but I want to see what you do without the football in your hand, because I played receiver at the time. And he was like, that comes on special teams. It wasn't until I got to Atlanta with the coach, Keith Armstrong, the special team coach, that he taught me the ins and outs of special teams, of being a gunner and being the 5-on kickoff, that I just embraced it. Like, okay, I'm gonna be damn good at this, and I've just been kind of using that technique ever since. And I'm thank God that I'm with Bones and Hat right now, because they're considered the two of the best coaches in the league on special teams, and it couldn't have lined up any better than for me, honestly.
But when you first came here, was it Bisaccia, the special teams coach?
No, it was KO.
Oh, it was KO. Yeah, Keith O'Quinn.
That's my man too.
Yeah, and he's in the scouting department here now. So, were you nervous when this staff? You've had several, it appears.
Absolutely.
Did it make you nervous when this staff came in and the people who knew you were not here anymore?
No. The first person to call me was Bones, Coach Bones. He called me during the offseason. He was like, man, I consider you I consider you the best player at your position on special teams in the league. He was like, man, I would love to have you back. I said, man, it's an easy call for me. I love being a doctor. So, I mean, we just got it done. Did you turn your phone off for a second and say, hold on a minute, repeat that, please, Coach, and put it on record so you could send it to your agent? No, listen, no matter what, we only get paid what we get paid. We're specialists, man. We only going to get what we're going to get, man. That's all.
So you're legit one of the nicest human beings off the field. But if you're a special teams guy, you got to have a screw or two loose, right? To run down there with just reckless abandon and just throw your body all around the place. Is there – now I know J-Ron Curse has this because I see it every game day. He's a maniac on game day. He is a different person. Do you have a switch that flips on game day where you go from being nice, cool, polite CJ to just wild man CJ, or are you still kind of that cool collective guy, you just go smack people?
I'm cool and collective. I'm just easily embarrassed. That's all. And every rep, I was just like, man, don't be out here getting embarrassed, because I gotta hear from my family if I get embarrassed. So every rep is don't get embarrassed.
That may be the best motivator I've ever heard.
Did you? How many of them did you hear from on Thursday?
Every family member texts me and say that what were you doing? And they obviously don't know anything about my job. But,
Right.
Everybody texts me.
Yeah. You got to love it. Everybody's an expert. All right, one more break. We'll be right back with more with CJ Goodwin on the Cowboys Hour.
Want to use what the pros use? Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today to get yours.
Be right back with CJ Goodwin.
To the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and Omni Hotels and Resorts.
Welcome back. And if you want to use what the pros use, Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today.
Those are the dulcet tones of Shannon Gross. I'm Brad Sham, and we are just so honored and happy to have C.J. Goodwin, the Cowboys special teams ace, with us on the program this evening on the Cowboys Hour. And, of course, this is Thursday for the players because Sunday is Thursday this week. Everybody understands that, right? How confusing is that for you during the week? Does it get to be a little, what? What day is it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But we just, we're on a schedule. So it doesn't matter the day. It's what is it, Thursday, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. But then you get 2 complete bonus days after this game.
Yes, we can use them. We definitely can use them. Rest that body for the long stretch.
So you have, as you said, you've embraced this role as the special teams player. I'm glad to hear you say that Coach Fossil called you when he got here and said he considers you the best at what you do in the league, because I don't think he's wrong. And we see guys all the time. Do you follow the lineage of special teams players? I guess Matthew Slater's the most decorated one in the league. right now, but you go all the way back to Steve Tasker with the Bills 30 years ago, who some of us believe, I'm one, ought to be in the Hall of Fame for what he did as a special teams player. He was a receiver. He was okay. He was a great special teams player. Do you follow all the lineage of all of that?
Absolutely, and I steal from all of them. Yes. Yes, I've been stealing from Slater since I became a special teams guy, and I watched Tasker, I watched all these guys. I go up to Bones' room and watch just old film with those guys as well. Just people they've coached and people and stuff they want me to steal from them. It's you steal from everybody.
What do you steal from Slater?
How physical he is. Just the way if he wants to get somewhere, he's going to get there with using two hands, grabbing people by the shoulder pads. Just the way he uses his hands is something, the refs really don't watch us out there. I hope they're not watching this, but the refs really don't watch us out there just because they're trying to get the play over with. So, it's an opportunity for you to not do something dirty, but, use an advantage. And, yeah, so I see how he does it, and it's just tenacity, just to get down the field and won't be denied. I like that.
What's one of the little for people that have never played special teams or never been on a pro football field? What's one of the little nuances that you could tell people that happen that they would have no idea that goes on? Like, if you're an offensive lineman, you can look at a defensive lineman's fingers, and if his fingertips are wide, he's leaning forward, so he's probably rushing, things like that. What's something on special teams that you don't necessarily, unless you're a student of the game and actually been in the game, that most people wouldn't know?
Well, one would be the field goal block that I botched, I guess, would be the holder's hand. Yeah, that's something that people don't really understand, and that's something I was getting vilified for because people didn't understand it. And if they would have known, then they would have been like, okay, that makes sense. But so say at like gunner or something like that, it's more of the leverage, just fighting the leverage and seeing that it's a run, and then you it's hard to explain it. You got to be able to do it. You got to be able to see it. But there's a lot of little nuances to it that we learn every day from, Coach Matt Daniels that teaches us stuff like that every day, and it's been working out for us. We're doing pretty good on special teams.
Do you talk trash at all as a special teams guy, or do you leave that up to the DBs and the wide receivers?
Nah, they got it. There's people that talk trash to us, but we just rather just whoop on them during the play and then go to the sideline and say I whooped on him. We try to keep it. We try to keep it cool.
Now, very rarely does when you're a gunner, frequently you're double teamed, and very rarely do penalties get called from that kind of activity. But you guys get mugged when you're coming off the line. They'll do every damn thing to you to try to keep you from getting down the field, don't they? How do you learn? When you say leverage, is that all about leverage, getting away from whether it's single or double coverage, getting down the field away from that?
Absolutely. That's all leverage right there. The rule is actually that if you're in a vice, so if they got two people on me and they get all four hands on me, they're allowed to do anything they want to me except put me on the ground. So the ref absolutely stops watching this play because they're allowed to really like manhandle me and like do whatever until I hit the ground. So we're taught to actually hit the ground if we ever get caught in the vice, to hit the ground. So they got to get off, and then they just grab you again as soon as you get up. But yeah, leverage. So if I'm going on, it's a fight, man. It's a fight, man.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask you if you would ever be tempted to just like hit the ground and make the guy look at you. But then I thought, no, his whole objective, his whole training is to get down the field. So he's not going to hit the ground, but you are coached to do that.
Yes, you're coached to hit the ground. I'm not going to do that because they're not going to just put all four hands on me.
So let me ask you this. Do you, I've known Randy White was a great player here, as good a defensive tackle as I've ever seen. And he still is, but when he started playing, he got into martial arts partially as a way to use his hands to get offensive linemen's hands off him. Do you study any of that or do anything even remotely like that?
We do that at practice. We do, we don't call it this, but wax on, wax off. So we just swipe it the whole time. Our coach, he has a drill. So where we run the sideline and we swipe it, the people's hands off. We kind of like, it's a timing thing. There's a lot that goes into this, man. We're not just out there just running around. But so it's a timing thing. You wait till this hand go up and then you hit his hand and he loses his balance. It's a lot, man. It's actually fun.
You grew up in Pennsylvania. Did you grow up a Steelers fan? Did you grow up watching football? Like, who was your team growing up?
I'm from West Virginia.
Oh, my bad.
Clear.
How did I get that wrong?
That's another Wikipedia Miller Lite for you. Yeah,
stepped right in that. Know what I was thinking.
Yeah, Northern West Virginia. Nah, it's all good. It's better than calling it Willing, Virginia. So I'll take PA over Virginia.
But were you? That is Western. That is kind of Steelers country. Did you grow up a Steelers?
It's very
fan?
much Steelers country, and I hated the Steelers. I actually grew up a Cowboys fan.
Did you
Big
really?
Cowboys fan.
How did that come to be?
Cowboys fan.
How did that come to be?
My uncle, he's like the head of the family. He was a big Cowboys fan growing up, and then they played the Steelers in the Super Bowl, and and they beat them. So I became a Cowboys fan then, just because we hated the Steelers growing up.
So I'm just trying to imagine how many Cowboys jerseys have you sent to West Virginia in the last 3 or 4 years?
A lot until I stopped paying for them and making people pay for their own jerseys.
I love that. Okay, so tell us about the mindset of this team. We've got like about a minute and a half left. You had almost a dream-like first couple of months. Now reality has come setting back in. Various things happen. And fortunately, you've got a little cushion. But tell us about the mindset. Tell us about how everybody's feeling, especially with this unusual week going into New Orleans.
We're feeling great, man. We still got everything in front of us. Everything we want to accomplish is still in front of us. We haven't lost a beat. I know we hit a little rough patch, but it's the NFL. You're gonna lose some games. Nobody's perfect in this league. Everybody's good. We're itching to go, man. We're itching to go, and I think we have the right pieces to do something special. To make some type of run, and it's all about runs. I've been in a situation where I got to the Super Bowl, and we got hot at the right time, and I think that's coming for us. And I truly believe that, man. We're gonna follow Dak's lead, and we'll make something special happen.
I was going to ask you if you have spent any time telling your younger teammates, "Hey, I know what this is like now. Don't worry about it now. Don't worry about it now."
I'm not that guy, but I mean, I got some type of respect in the locker room, and they know.
Yeah, you got some respect in the locker room, outside the locker room, and our thanks. CJ, it's been great to have you with us. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, CJ.
Shannon, Brett.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!